All right, good morning, traders. Today is August 21st, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. BYOB Trading is the day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the following. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the kind comments. Love it all. Thank you for joining me on my trading journey. Appreciate that. Love that. Just want to say a special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy Sarah Roasted. Thank you for sharing my content out there with the digital world. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hey, good morning, Robert. All right, so my SPY pivot. Again, thank you all for being here. So my SPY pivot this morning is 636.45. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Now remember, diamond down, not yesterday, but the day before, made a new all-time high. Yesterday made a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. FNGU, QQQ seem to be in caution land, all right? Dropping a little bit faster than we expect them to. So FNGU, QQQ made lower highs, lower lows, closing below bearish traps under their 17s. SPY and IWM made lower highs and lower lows, closing below their traps but over their 17s. Skip that with IWM, and maybe that was meant to be something else. Now we got it all. Okay. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute uptrend. SLV, silver, no longer in an uptrend. Made an inside day. It's a lower high and a higher low. Closing inside a bearish trap and under the 17. Gold in a daily downtrend also. Made a higher high and a higher low. Closing over a bearish trap over the 17. Let me just say, gold and silver, they might be in downtrends. But gold, I think, should be still up there over that $300 level, holding that plank up there. Silver's still up there in quadrant 4. They're still bullish up there. They're just in downtrends that aren't really moving down on both of those. All right, so again, gold in a daily downtrend made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap and under the 17. USO in a daily downtrend made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap and under the 17. UNG, no surprise here, made a new all-time low, okay? In the whole life of UNG, made a new all-time low. All right, US dollar index in an uptrend, but still in a big bear flag, closed near the 98.20 area. SPY max pain 637 with a put to call ratio of about 1 put to each call that expires today. Remember those index options, they expire 4:15. Security options will expire at 4 p.m. Okay, I don't know if there's too many securities that have daily options. Most of them all have weekly. But anyways, security options expire at 4, and the index options expire at 4:15. All right, so that's in regard to SPY max pain. Okay, so we got GTX still getting that breakout launch pad right there, and FAT building out the launch pad, working on the breakout, and teed up. All right, and one other one, TLS. Also doing all the same thing, building out launch pads or in the process of taking off to the upside. On the bear side, we've got Kava building that platform down to dip lower. All right, RDW building that platform down to dip lower. SG building out the platform down to dip lower. And AEVA building out a platform down to dip lower. Let me explain that so that you're not confused. That would be price moves down and then over to the right. All right, kind of consolidating for a possible, no guarantees, another move to the downside right there. Okay, you see it consolidate before some moving average comes behind it, kicks it in the butt and pushes it a little bit lower, okay? These are all on those platforms up where price moves up and consolidates till it hits a trend line or some moving average, and then you see it kind of bounce up like that, okay? That's with the stars right here. All these should be in bullish uptrends over the 17 EMA. All of these should be in bearish downtrends under the 17 EMA, showing weakness, all right? Just so you know what these stars mean. Means I flag them because they look pretty good to me for a possible move. Now on any of these, of course, I would look for that 10-minute uptrend on the bulls, and same goes for the bears. Not the uptrend. I would look for the 10-minute downtrend for the bears over here. Okay, on any one of these, look for a 10-minute downtrend. All right, let's go take a look at some charts today. Before I get with the charts, I'm going to make some announcements here. What do we got for announcements? I want to announce that today, all right, starting at noon, so I probably won't be in the room, starting today, we're going to have 3 different presentations on the disciplined trader building a winning mindset, all right? So there's 3 different takes on that topic, and that starts, this is for members, all right? This is the benefits of being a member, building a winning mindset. That's going to happen today at noon. All right, and then I start at 1 and Rick comes in at 2, okay, as long as I don't run over my time, all right, right there. Anyways, that's today, okay, so if you don't see me in the room, I'm probably in the combo room, all right, and that's where you'll find me. If you want to know how to get to the combo room, see if I can drag this up here without messing anything up. Okay, you go to your members page, and right there, it's combo room. You just click that, fill in your credentials, and you jump in. That's it. It's pretty easy, okay? All right, another announcement I want to make is right here. Okay, Rick's going to have open house Tuesday, August 26th. All right, that's free to get in, all right, for everybody out there. I will leave a link in the description, all right? If you cannot wait for the link, you can take your smartphone, scan this QR code. It will provide a pop-up or a link to another page. That will be the registration page. Scanning this QR code with your smartphone, and then you can register on the link provided from the QR code. All right, so Rick's going to start at 8:45. He's going to run till 4:15. All right. So this is Rick. That's going to be August 26th. Again, it is free to get in. No charge to attend, but you do need to register. Okay? So please get registered. All right? And don't forget to mark it on your calendar so you remember to go. All right? All day, 8:30, 8:45 until 4:15. I got to say, Rick's been starting early. Recently, right around 7:45. I don't know. Maybe you can get in at 7:45 and see the early presentation. I'm not sure if he's going to continue to do that, but I saw him today in the trading room at 7:45 doing a nice presentation. So you might want to get there early. All right, and if not, I mean, he will definitely be there to open up the markets at 9:30. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. Okay, there's all the announcements. We already did this right here. Okay, you see the bulls and the bears. All right, let's take a look at some charts on SPY. All right, 10-minute. Left off with a 10-minute uptrend. All right, right here yesterday on the 2-hour. This is SPY. Left off with a 2-hour downtrend. Okay, on SPY. On the daily chart, okay, left off, we're still in a daily uptrend. We have not made any lower lows. We're in a daily uptrend, but get this, we're not moving up. Okay, we've been pulling back. Something I want to show you guys, all right. I was kind of prepared for this move, and I just want to show it to you. I want to share it because I think it's kind of amazing and cool. I'll go to the 2-day chart. And I put the 9 EMA on my volume zone oscillator, okay? So anytime price dips, below this 9 EMA, I seem to see a pullback to the 8 EMA right here, okay? So notice that, and we get a pullback to the 8. Same thing again right here on this day. And look, we get a pullback to the 8, actually to the 17 right there. So you get a little red nub down there. Same thing happening on this day right here. And of course, following day you can see, or 2 days, you get a pullback to the 8 right there. This is a 2-day chart. Okay, so then another one, okay, again below the 9 EMA right there. And a pullback to the 8 EMA right there on the 2-day chart. Okay, so guess what? I was ready for this. I saw this, and Daddy didn't raise any fools. I was looking for this. All right, so you can see under the 9 EMA right here. Okay, and of course, where do we pull back? Right to the 8, right there, almost to the 17 right there. And what do we got? That little red nub. Now maybe it's over. It seems as though after they produce this little red nub down here at the bottom, they like to reverse it to the upside. And I gotta say, on the 30-minute chart, or maybe on the 10-minute, okay, try the 15. I did see a nice candle wick there. Maybe it was on the 2-hour. Yeah, okay, so I see like a spinning top right here, okay? So looking like price reversing back to the upside. We'll see, they seem to be picking up steam here in the pre-market, headed towards the downside. So this may be just a pause. Maybe they're going to retest the lows today. We'll see if they're going to retest the lows. I'm looking for a pullback to 613. All right, that's way down here, okay? And that happens to be the prior all-time high before we made all of these new all-time highs, okay? That held up for, I don't know, a couple years anyways. So I think a pullback to 613 and then a bounce back up, okay? We got NVIDIA earnings coming up, I think next week sometime. So I don't know if they're going to do it fast, all right, because I think they want to wind up for NVIDIA earnings. A nice pullback, and of course, I'll bet you, I'm not going to bet you, but I have a suspicion that once next week turns around, we start approaching NVIDIA earnings, price is going to start moving back up again. All right, it's just a hunch. I have a suspicion. Again, we don't have any 10-minute uptrends yet. All right, we did yesterday. We don't have any 2-hour uptrends yet. Maybe there's one formulating here. We'll see what happens, okay, on SPY. All right, to trade this morning, okay, I put it on the 10-minute chart. Again, my favorite charts, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside 2-hour uptrend. Of course, we don't have that 2-hour uptrend, but I like that 2-hour uptrend, inside that 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend. Okay, so now we got a daily uptrend, we got a weekly uptrend, we got a monthly uptrend, but right now on the 2-hour, you can see we have ourselves a downtrend right now, okay? But I'm not opposed to trading 10-minute uptrends, okay? As we did yesterday when price pulled into support right here at 633. Okay, pulled into support and bounced back up. All right, so we traded a 10-minute uptrend back up towards VWAP and a little bit over there. Okay, it's nice to see the bulls drag price up over VWAP and consolidate yesterday. Okay, they did not hit any of my targets, but it was nice to see that. All right, so we'll see. Kind of getting a rollover effect right now. We'll see what happens. Maybe they're going to stick in a higher low, or they may come all the way down and test the lows and maybe further. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Again, I have not seen the higher high, all right, on the charts, okay? You can see I'm just on a 10-minute. We got a little micro higher high, but on the bigger time frames, it's just not there, all right? So breaking those lows, all right, I would look for price to come down and challenge the low from yesterday, and possibly even lower. If we get there early in the day and they're committed to melting off some more, I think good chance we break these two lows, this double bottom here. We're coming down to here and maybe even lower, all right? Maybe all the way down to 630. We'll see what happens, all right? If we put the pivots on, we can look at some points, all right, to see where price may go. Again, test the lows right here, obviously at 634. Next trip lower, all right, is 630. Okay, if I zoom out a little bit more, next trip below that, of course, is 627.25. Okay, I'm not saying they'll stop at 630. I got a good feeling we'll probably get a bounce there. All right, right at 630. Probably for a buck and a quarter if we get down that low. We'll see what happens. Again, we have not put any higher highs. In reality, this is kind of like a pullback in a downtrend right there. So still haven't made any higher highs other than this little micro higher high over here. So we'll see what happens with today. To trade today, okay, I'm going to mark off the upside of the overnight range right here. That would be the upside. Going to mark off the low side of the overnight range, which seems to be dipping right now. All right. So, and then I will look for a breakout of the range. Right now, you're getting a breakdown of the consolidation right here. Okay. So that's a trade lower, breaking through all of the consolidation right through here. Again, breaking through the bottoms of these two lows. Right here, I would look for a test of the bottom here from yesterday. It's low, and then even lower. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Again, I'm going to mark off the first 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to box off the first 3 5-minute candles and look for a breakout of the 15-minute range. Okay, this would be the overnight range, morning overnight range. Okay, this will be the opening range right here inside the green box. So I will look for a breakout of the box or the overnight range, either one. Breakout on either one of those. I would look to trade to the upside or the downside, whichever side they choose to go on. All right, so there's SPY. Also got a game plan going on as well. And let me just take this out of the way. Actually, let's go over right to here. Okay. So on the game plan, SPY pivot, course 636.45 above it. I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. You can see we are already below it. All right, so I would be a bear. All right, price action is, you can see right here, we've got the pivot 636.45. Again, below 634.65. All right, I would look to head lower. All right, that is a red erases green entry right there. All of this would be the green right here, like from here on up to there. Okay, so that would be a red erases green to come down lower to the next pivot, which would be 630. Okay, so that would be here's the bulls rallying price back, and then the bears come in and wipe out everything that the bulls just created and more. That would be the red erases green entry. Okay, now the green erases red entry, okay, would be right here up over 638.95. All right, so I would look for that. So you can see this would be the pullback, all right, from the bears. All right, obviously you can see where the bears got right here. If I just move this out of the way, okay, so this is the pullback from the bears. And move this up just a little bit. Okay, so bulls brought it up to this high. So the bears pull it back to this low. I'm just supposing that that's where it's going to start this morning. I don't know. But right here to this low, all right? And then if the bulls come in and erase everything that the bears did from this high to this low and more, this right here, 638.95, that would be the bullish green erases red entry. In other words, the bulls come in and erase all of what the bears did right here over 638.95. Okay, so that is how I use the game plan in the morning time. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. I like 1 DTE Friday options on the multiple of 5 that are $2 to $15 out of the money. Okay, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that are up and over and breaking away, up, breaking away, up, okay, and away from VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends that are breaking down and away from VWAP. Now, if I get a 10-minute downtrend that happens to manifest up here, okay, and it breaks the rubber band candle, the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle, I'm not opposed to trading it. Okay, it's my choice. I can choose to pass on it if I want to, okay? But if it happens to manifest up here, I may want to trade it. I don't have to wait for the red erases green entry, all right, to get into that trade, as long as it breaks that bearish 10-minute red rubber band candle or just rubber band candle, okay? Same thing with a 10-minute uptrend. If one happens to manifest down here, long before the green erases red entry up here, okay, I'm not opposed to trading as long as it breaks the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle to the upside, okay? So I don't have to wait till price gets all the way up here just to be bullish, all right? As it's making its trip back up there, okay, it may be bullish on its way back up there. So I'm not opposed to trading it down here, but I would like to see it break the 10-minute bullish rubber band candle in order to show me that it's committed to moving back up to the upside, okay? So there's SPY on the 10-minute. Let's look at QQQ. I'm going to turn these off, all right, because we don't need them anymore. Let's look at QQQ. QQQ got a game plan as well. Again, the pivot for QQQ, 636.55. Above and I'm a bull, below and I'm a bear. You can see they're waffling on it right now, okay, kind of teetering. Okay, red erases green underneath 559. That is a red erases green entry under 559. Green erases red entry over 566.55. Again, the pivots 563.55. Again, same thing. I like 1 DTE Friday options on the multiple of 5 with strikes, $2 to $15 or $2 to $10 out of the money. Again, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Okay, this is the QQQ game plan. That's how to read that. All right. So let's take a look at QQQ on the daily chart. All right, we'll head over here. You can see here's QQQ. Make sure I got the right one. That's the 21st. Lower high, lower low. Look at that big tail to the downside. That's more tail than body and wick. All right? Make a note of that. Okay? That meant the bulls had more control. We did move down, but in that candle down here, the bulls had more control. Not to say that this is where they're going to make their stand, but it might be. All right? So notice more tail than body and wick, showing me bulls had more control there. Okay? All right. Price action underneath the closing underneath the bearish trap. You can see the 3 EMA underneath the 8 EMA, and we're underneath the 17 EMA right here, and we're showing a downtrend line on the daily chart. We'll see what happens. Okay? We're still up here in quadrant 4, so we're still bullish. Okay, we're underneath the 17. We're still bullish up here, and we have not made a lower low, and we're still in an uptrend. Okay, just a note of that. SPY, same deal. Okay, we're still bullish. Okay, we're up at the top of quadrant 4. We have not made a lower low, and we're still up here in quadrant 4, and we're still bullish at this time. Okay, they are experiencing a pullback. Okay, we haven't seen one of these in a long time. Okay, last one was here. We haven't seen one of these in a long time where it takes in 3 or 4 days. Last time we had one was back in June. Okay, It wasn't much of one anyways. See that? Took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 days to reach over here and tag the 17 EMA. Okay, so we haven't seen one in a long, so this is kind of new to us again, all right, for a while. Okay, so there's SPY, still bullish, all right. We haven't made any lower lows. We just seem to be pulling back, okay. Question is, how far are we going to pull back? So there's SPY. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, on Diamond Dow, keep in mind, not yesterday, but the day before, see this big wick up there? That's a new all-time high for our Diamond Dow. New rally high, new all-time high. Yesterday's candle right here, lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Okay, that's still bullish up there, okay? They may be 5 red candles up there, all right? But we're still bullish. We're still holding the higher ground, all right? If they go up, give it up, that'd be neutral, okay? They go up, give it up and more, that would be bearish. Right now, we're still planking up there. That's a show of strength, okay? Up over the 17 EMA, up at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM in this kind of 5-candle pullback, 6-candle pullback, lower high, lower low, closing underneath the bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA. Still up here in the upper third, all right, and still in an uptrend, okay. FNGU's in a downtrend. See, they broke this little low right here, so they got themselves in a downtrend. They were not moving down. Now they've returned to the scene of the crime. Right here, we got lower high, lower low, closing underneath the bearish trap, underneath the 17. Did they make a lower low? Curious. Low here is 23.15. Low here is 23.21. They did not make a lower low. All right, so you can see at prior lows, we got a bounce on the FNGU. All right, we'll see how far they want to carry that bounce. All right, again, notice more more tail than body and wick. Okay, bulls took control of that candle. How much longer they're going to continue to take control, we'll see. We're melting back down to test them again. All right, so there's FNGU. We did IWM. We did Diamond Dow. We did QQQ. All right, take a look at our technicals. T21.22. Here's the breadth. All right, increasing breadth a little bit there. I don't know if that's the downside breadth or the upside breadth. Since we were moving down yesterday, and then we turned around and reversed. So I'm going to give this to the bulls. They've increased the upside breadth, moving back up. All right, T21.22. We spent the day in the buyer's chop zone, consolidating here. We should see a nice size breakout come soon. Don't know when it's going to show up. Maybe this morning after 8:30 news. We'll see what happens. T21.23. Gap up, filled by the bears. All right, not a new high here, but not a new rally high. Okay, because the rally high is over here. Okay, we are up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. And on the 15-minute, we're making higher lows and higher highs. So that's still in an uptrend. Again, we're showing strength by moving up. Okay, again, it's a move up and over to the right. That is bullish. All right, that's like planking all day long. All right, it's like doing a chin up and holding it for 2 hours. Okay, and now we've got some consolidation. Okay, over prior consolidation right here. Consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a bullish outlook. Okay, this was bullish yesterday and we came down. Okay, this was bullish. T21.23.15. I think FNGU was the culprit. That's what dragged us down. But you can see FNGU hit that low and bounced. All right. So we'll see how far they want to carry the bounce. All right, for yesterday's move. Okay. So T21.23, that was bullish. 15-minute chart. 3-bar chart still in an uptrend. Got a low, higher low, higher low, even higher low. Got a high, higher high, even higher high. We're up here in quadrant 4. That is bullish. Okay, that is the all-time high right here. We're dealing with this consolidation over here to the left. That's this high and this high. Okay, that's what we're dealing with, those 3 highs. If we get past those 3, all that's left is the all-time high right up here. Okay, so that's bullish and in an uptrend and up over the 200 SMA. FNGU, this was our problem yesterday. FNGU went down and tagged a prior low right here, okay, and bounced. Okay, hopefully they make a higher low here. Okay, they made an equal low here. Hopefully they make a higher low and the bulls get inspired to make a higher high. We'll see. There's FNGU on the 15-minute. Is it in an uptrend? Yes, okay, because they made a higher high right here, okay? Not a very convincing uptrend. It's only like 3 or 4 candle uptrend, okay? Because notice that high that they beat there only has about 4 candles on each side, okay? You measure the strength of your pivots, your valley lows and your peak highs by the number of candles on each side, okay? So is it a high? Yes, it is. It's a higher high, but not a very strong higher high. It didn't take out anything of significance other than this consolidation over VWAP right there. Okay, so there's FNGU selling off even more, right down into a prior low, and then bouncing back up on top of VWAP, and trying to break out from that consolidation, looking to me like it's a failure, and they want to revisit the lows, maybe even lower. We'll see. FNGU on the 15-minute. All right. Let's take a look at the economic package. All right. And let's see if I can drag that up there. All right. Let's start with dollar. Okay. Dollar is still in a bear flag, but in an uptrend. Okay. Big bear flag. Okay. Because when I say bear flag, you probably can't see. It starts from up here and moves down and then over to the right, okay? This would be the major support that was broken. Now this becomes minor resistance. Okay, notice price went up there and failed to hold up over the minor resistance. So currently, this is the bear flag, all right? So just so you know that, all right? And we got a higher low and a higher high, so that puts us in an uptrend, okay? On the daily chart, making a higher low and a higher high, but still in that bear flag, all right? On the dollar, all right? Still in that uptrend right there, okay? Because they got a higher low, just not moving up. That's the problem, okay? They're in an uptrend, but they're not moving up. They have made a higher low. Question is, do they have the strength to make another higher high? Maybe not. We'll see what happens, all right? So, on the max pain for today is 637. That's for the SPY options that expired today. And a put to call ratio of about 1 put to each call. A little over 1 put for each call that expires today. Earnings calendar, I think Walmart reports this morning. $808 billion. Intuit, $195 billion. They're going to report tonight. Full Truck Alliance, this morning, $114 billion. They report this morning. Tomorrow, nothing but familiar names. Okay, tomorrow, nothing but familiar names. Nothing that's going to move the markets. Okay, and I want you to remember next week. All right, I'm pretty sure on Thursday, Dell reports. See what Wednesday says. Nvidia. Okay, Wednesday, Nvidia is going to report. $4 trillion. I think that's huge market cap right there. $4 trillion of market cap is going to report on Wednesday. Okay, it's very capable of moving the markets. All right, and it's weighted in the SPY and the QQQ. Not to mention how much market cap it has, but also has a weighted value as well, which can easily drag those indexes along with it wherever it goes. All right, so that's Nvidia, big one, Wednesday. All right, be ready for that one. Probably want to hedge your portfolio ahead of this, okay? Because this could be volatile, all right, to the upside or downside, all right? So be ready for that. That's the earnings report. All right, let's take a look at economic calendar for today. Make sure I got the right one. 21st. All right, jobless claims 8:30. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index 8:30. PMI Composite Flash 9:45. Existing home sales at 10. Leading indicators at 10. Gas report at 10:30. And that's it. Mr. Powell's going to speak tomorrow at 10 from Jackson Hole, I hear. All right, we'll see how that goes. All right. They're still saying they got rate cuts scheduled for September. Maybe he's going to change it due to the tariffs showing up, impacting prices across the nation. We'll see what happens, all right? Hope that's not what he says, but be prepared. It might come out, all right? So we'll see what happens here, all right? All right, that's it for me for this morning, okay? I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. Let me get this video out there for Podcast Land, Digital Land, Cyberland. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll open up the markets here in about 45 minutes. All right? Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.